What's going on, Disney Nation? How we all doing today? So, preseason 2024 is a wrap. It's in the books. It's done and over with. Regular season is just a week away, and let's go ahead and recap. How do we get here? What are we looking at rolling into the regular season? Well, as we all know, this offseason, a lot different. New coach, some notable names that have been with the team for quite some time are no longer with the team, and got a lot of young talent coming in. You know, got a lot of prospects in the draft. Got a couple guys who've been with the team, and, you know, getting their fair shot to see what they can do and what they can produce and put on the field. And overall, just a bunch of different philosophies and just kind of way of going about things. But let's go ahead and jump in. First preseason game against the Seahawks, and let me just say, first and foremost, it was great to be back at SoFi Stadium. I decided to do this style of video rather than doing my usual game day type of vlogs, well, because the Seahawks game, I was sick. Well, I was getting over it, so I wasn't like infecting people, but like, you know, I still had congestion and like, you know, throat. Yeah. Anyways, it was good to be back. We got to get our first look at the new kickoff, which is interesting, but at the same time, I do kind of like it. It does promote returns. It does promote some strategy when kicking off, but also value player safety, and it looks like it's doing a little bit of both of that. Now, defense played really well throughout the entire preseason. As we all know, those of us who followed along, offense looked lackluster, and again, I will say, obviously, we don't see QB1. Obviously, a lot of the mainstay number ones aren't playing or aren't on the field, so there's that. So take it with a grain of salt. But from an offensive perspective, they really did truly struggle, especially when, you know, you're going against some of these defense that are second, third, fourth, fifth string, sixth string, seventh string, you know what I mean? So after that first game was done, lots to be desired on offense. Second game, back at SoFi once again, Chargers, Rams, you know, little LA friendly, you know what I'm saying? Went with a couple of the homies, so that was good to spend some time and hang out with them, but also just kind of, you know, scout, recon, see what the team's about. Offense moved the ball a little bit more. Still didn't see our first offensive touchdown, unfortunately, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? Defense still looked really good. Again, I know it's preseason, but there's a lot to be proud of. Some of the turnovers they're able to create and the goal line stands as well. So I like what I see from a defensive toughness standpoint, and stuff like that carries over throughout the whole team. That's not just, you know, these guys are just fighting that hard for a roster spot. When you see guys fighting like that, it carries over, right? It's a philosophy thing. It's an effort thing. So it's good to see. We got to see Luis Perez, who was signed right before the first preseason game. We got to see him play a lot more in that second preseason game. Now, this guy's from Chula Vista, so I was rooting heavily for him to see what he could do. MVP of the UFL, I think it's called. So spring football, dominated and killed it in that. So I was rooting for the guy. I was excited to see what we could do. Obviously, it was a little QB battle for backup to see who's going to back up Justin Herbert. More on that in a little bit. Now, jumping into the third and final game against the Cowboys, we finally see the offense break through and score a touchdown on their first offensive play, nonetheless. Darius Davis turning on the Jets, showing why he needs to be more involved in the offense as almost like a gadget play guy or a Swiss Army knife type guy, maybe. Because he went to the crib on that end around. And then I know a lot of us Charger fans were probably pulling for Simi Fehoko. He was having a great camp, and to see him catch that long bomb, which is kind of nice to do because the Cowboys did waive him, keep him on their practice squad a season ago, and he got his opportunity with the Chargers, of course, with injuries to wide receiver last season, and to basically cement your spot on the roster against the team that waived you and shelved you on the practice squad must have felt pretty good. I feel pretty good, me personally. But yeah, Chargers decided to keep, 7 wide receivers, which, I mean, I think is the right move. I mean, all those guys, I think, deserve a spot. If we've learned anything in the past, it never hurts to have depth at that position. And it's going to be interesting even going into the season. I think, you know, 1, 2, and 3 are going to be Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, and Ladd McConkey, but I mean, who knows? Really, any guy can come in and make a name for himself.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
As a receiver, I mean, it's really up for grabs. I don't think there is a clear cut, like, you know, this guy's the 1 and this guy's the 2 and that's it, you know? I think as the season goes on, as the season progresses, some guys make some plays. We'll see what happens, and I don't know, it's going to be exciting to watch, especially now that we'll get to see Herb in the fold and see who Herb develops those relationships and that trust with. I mean, Herb's a guy who makes a lot of guys look good. I mean, he hasn't had a problem completing the passes to no matter who's out there at wide receiver, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, he gonna make it happen. It's all good. I'm also excited to see what the running game's gonna look like. Obviously, we didn't get to see JK or Gus Bus at all. So, but you know, there was some exciting and some tough runs, and Vidal and Patterson ran hard, and they were you know, some bright spots. So if the running game could even be like that with JK and Gus, and you know, even working those other guys in to shoulder the load, I mean, I think it's going to be great. I just, if we have any semblance of a run game and we at least have a middle of the pack defense, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be pretty competitive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making any bold claims and statements. I'm saying this right now, putting it on the record. Wild card spot would be a success for the season, okay? And we'll take that. Having said that, you know, you got some pieces. Who knows? Maybe they make a little run. But again, wild card spot, playing into the postseason will be a success in my eyes, no matter what that looks like. Now, having said that, it is going to be interesting some of the things that they can do, some of the names they let go. Chicken Parm, unfortunately, was released, and he's been picked up by the Broncos. So we'll see what that looks like. He's on the practice squad as of now. We'll see if he works his way into the rotation. They obviously signed 2 tight ends in the offseason who can block and catch, and kept Stone Smart, who is another guy who with a similar skill set. DBs are going to be interesting. The Chargers today, you know, we thinking, okay, this is the 53, and then they're going to pick up who they're going to pick up for the practice squad. No, they made a trade for a corner from the Titans. I forget his name. Let me know in the comments. Remind me of his name. Tony Jefferson balling out against the Cowboys was great, by the way. That's a huge boost when it comes to depth at safety. Picture this, Dizzy Nation. Picture a world where when we go up against Kansas City, you can commit Derwin James to Travis Kelce, and you have Alohi and Tony Jefferson who can still hold down the safety positions. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. But it'll be interesting to see how they use all those DBs. You know, they kept a bunch too. Probably play a lot of nickel and dime, but we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's new defensive scheme. We'll see what Jesse Minter really deploys during the regular season. Now that we're not going to get the cookie cutter, bare bones defense and offense calls. So we'll see what offensive calls is, but more importantly, I'm excited to see what Jesse Minter brings to this defense, and you know, his play calling abilities and things like that. Now, back to what I was alluding to earlier with the backup QB situation. So obviously there was that battle for backup QB. Is it going to be Luis? We ended up releasing Max Duggan, and you know, was he going to be kept around as a future option? You know, it appeared that Easton Stick had won the backup job and was going to stick around as the backup, but Chargers made a trade. They sent a conditional 6th round pick to the Atlanta Falcons for Taylor Heineke, and that's going to be probably a really, really good, you know, secure move. To give up a 6th rounder, you're not sacrificing a whole lot. Atlanta has Kirk Cousins, and they just drafted Michael Penix Jr., which head scratcher on draft night, but it is what it is. So Heineke was obviously the odd man out. So we come up on a quarterback who's played in the league before, who started games before, you know, albeit if there's anything we learned from this preseason training camp, if 10 goes down, we're screwed. That's like the biggest obvious message that we learned. But it is nice to have a serviceable guy, and that hopefully with the right coaching staff and enough guys around him, God forbid, you know, we lose Herb for 4 weeks, a guy that might get you to be able to be 3-1 or 2-2, or at least remain competitive in that time while he's out. So yeah, having a serviceable backup definitely helps. Having that cushion definitely helps. I mean, we looked at going back to the Seahawks game. Sam Howell, the QB for the Commanders last season, he's now Seattle's backup behind Geno Smith, and you know, he looked pretty good. I mean, he was the reason partially why they were able to move that ball in that game, and it's just nice to have a good backup. It's nice. The security blanket helps. All that being said, comment section, let me know, what are your thoughts for this upcoming season? What are you looking forward to? What are you most intrigued about? What are you like, just this is like on the crux of your mind and you have to get it out in that comment section. Let me know below and we can talk football, man. Chop it up. Linked also in the description. Follow me on my social media. Keep up with me in between uploads. I believe my Discord's linked down there too. Join that. We talk about sports, we talk about games, we talk about, you know, anything. Leave a like, I greatly appreciate it. Helps out the channel way more than you may think. And you know, go ahead and, you know, subscribe. Doesn't hurt. It's completely free, helps me out, and you know, we keep the ball rolling and keep on this YouTube journey. That being said, Dizzy Nation, I cannot wait for this season. I am so hyped. I am so excited. Yeah, man, it's that late August optimism, you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, can't wait to see you for more videos coming up real soon. Appreciate all the love and support. Peace, love, and positivity, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one, and peace.